Wait, where's my finger? I'm trying to be all cute and like point to the 77. This is tarot play date 77. Can you guys believe this? We've been doing this for over a year and a half because we had to have some breaks. So don't try to do the math on the weeks. But 77, we have made it through almost all of the cards. So because of that, we're going to have to change things up just a teensy-weensy bit to prepare for next week. So I'm going to throw a couple of curveballs at you today. However, my friends, I want to say hello to everybody who's here because I so appreciate you being here. Many of you have been here since the beginning, or you've been dedicated since you found out about it. We have had new names and faces. We've lost names and faces, but I'm just pleased to have every single one of you who are here today with me and who join me later or who watch this back. How'd we do with the moon card this last week? I had this come up for me, I think at least once, maybe just once in one of my daily draws. But yeah, it's been so sunny and kind of summery. Well, we've had a few cloudy days here in Seattle, but it's been harder to kind of resonate with the moon for me this week, but I feel like it was appropriate for sure. Let me say some hellos, and you guys can tell me what you think, what you thought. Lily Valley was the first one in today. Hello, the penultimate card all together right now. Here we go. We have Gianna Gracia Tarot here. I can't believe we've gone through almost all the cards. Exactly, I know. Patrice, feeling the anticipation building. Hello. And let's see, Dory's Intuitive Tarot. Pleased to finally catch a live play date. I am pleased too, because we're so close to the end. So I'm so glad you made it. Richie Longman Tarot is here. Hello, Tarot Lovely yourself. We have Elle there with the gaspy face. Just one more to go. Okay, then we have... sorry, I'm just enjoying your comments today. And then, oh, this is a nice comment, Patrice. Thank you. She says, beautiful Jen, you've created such a wonderful community here on your Tarot Playdate channel. Well, or Jen Ballin Tarot channel. Thank you, my lovely friend, for who you are and what you create for us. One more week of TPD. What's next? Oh, thank you. Thank you, darling. Let's see here. We have Elle bowing down to someone, which is kind of odd. I didn't think I'd ever see that happen here. We have Shanti Diva here. Hello. Susie Gemini, nice to see you. And Pamela Ramsey, you're sad because you'll miss next week. Well, guess what? We actually are going to have a gap next week because I am taking some friends for a birthday brunch. Oh, wait. I don't know if I can say it because she might watch this channel. So I'm taking some friends for something to celebrate my friend's birthday. So actually our final play date is going to be 2 weeks from today. Is that the first week of August? First weekend in August? So we're just stretching it out. I'm just not ready for it to end. That's what we'll blame. So Pamela, you might be able to make it back. Wood Thrush Cottage Diane, hello. Jennifer Ball's Witch House, but you didn't miss it. You're right on time. I'm still waffling, so that's fine. Hi, Donna Riedler, and let's see. Oh no, the chat jumped. Okay, I think I found my way back. Ooh, it's warm in here today. D Lady is here. The shuffle will be interesting. Perhaps Jen will drop a card and we'll get that one. I mean, really, just for old time's sake, right? Jackie Jacaranda, hello. Let's see. Kristen Louise is here. Hi, Kristen. Oh, Mama. Hi, Melanie. Nice to see you. I feel like it's been a few weeks since we've seen you, so it's great to have you here. Where's my finger? Where's my finger? I don't know what you mean. Oh, when I was trying to point at the 77 when I first started. Oh, goodness. Robin is here, Toadstool Tarot. You're hoping the last week closes with the Empress, which means you want the other card to be drawn today. Hey, Shane. Oh, that's a cute little emoji. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. And let's see here. Yeah, Shane did miss the moon. Mindy Cheyenne, hello. Antoinette is here. T-Cat, oh, love seeing all these names. White Tree Tarot. You're all filing in as I'm saying hello. We have Debbie Aquarius Owl, hello. I have to say hi to everybody. The House of Divination, hi all from Richard. That's a new name. Hello and welcome. Scott, Scorpio Moon Tarot. Hi, Scott. And Kim is here, Moon Whisper. Hello, my friend. And let's see. Oh no. We jumped again. I think I saw my sis sneak in down here. Do I see a shortcake strawberry? I do. Good morning. We had such a wonderful weekend. My sis was up here from San Diego and we got to hang out and it was lovely and very nourishing time. Hello, Chris, Elemental Cartomancy. Who is this Shane A person? Yeah, I know. He's been a little elusive lately, hasn't he? Did I make it to the end? I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, totally accidental. Okay. I'm hot. I'm warm. The idea of Playdate ending. All right, I might have to go grab my fan. All right, my friends. So you guys know how this works. Okay, I have extra double homework for you today. So I hope you all came prepared to participate because, as you know, we only have 2 cards left. So if I asked you to give me your questions next week, for the final card, it'll be a total setup because you'll know what the card is. Right now, we still have a little bit of randomness left. So here's what I'm going to do. Yeah, Elle's already rebelling against the homework. So just for that, Elle, I expect you to participate. But what I want to do is I want to gather a list of 5 questions that we will answer with today's card. Then but I want more questions than that because I'm going to gather 3 extra questions. And I know that's less than normal, but I have different kinds of plans for our final play date. So I'm going to gather 3 questions today for our final play date. Does that make sense? So I need 8 questions, but 5 of them we will answer today and 3 of them we will answer in 2 weeks in the final play date. And I have it all set up so that I can gather them. How are we going to celebrate the last tarot playdate? Is that a question that you want me to ask the cards, Lily? Or is that just you asking me what we're going to do for the final playdate? See, you guys are bringing it already. All right, let me get over to my StreamYard chat here so I can make sure to grab these. If I miss them because they're not in all caps, my mods are usually great at making sure I see them. Oh, can we protest the end of playdate and start a second go round? You know, I mean, you can. I can't stop you. I'm not sure how that's all going to pan out, though. All right. Oh, Shane's got one for me today. What advice can we take into making a decision that has been on our mind? Oh, do you have a decision on your mind, Shane? You call mom for advice. Just kidding. This is a great question, actually. So thank you very much. Shane A., we all have decisions we need to make, right? What advice can we take into making a decision that has been on our mind? I love that question, actually. All right, and then let's go back to the comments here. Shane wants in, yes. Okay, so Lily, that was a final question. How can we celebrate after the last tarot playdate? So what I'm going to do, Lily, is I'm going to put that question in my next week questions. I think that's what makes sense. So we'll be there. Or do you want to answer that this week? Why am I confused? I'm too excited. Okay, yes. I'm going to put this in next week. So from Lily, let me know if I'm doing it wrong. I might be doing it wrong. Lily Valley. All right. Let me come over here. Oh, no, I deleted. I don't want to delete. Final. Okay. From Lily Valley. How can we celebrate the end of TPD? Something like that. Oh, I still have Shane's comment highlighted. That's why I can't see it. Okay. How can we celebrate the last tarot playdate? I totally phrased that funny. I also am having problems. Sorry. I'm giving you time to come up with questions is what's happening right now. Okay. How can we celebrate the last tarot playdate? If I don't save it, it doesn't save. Okay. All right, there we go. Now I have that set up for next week. All right, now coming back for some more questions. Oak Mama, where do we go next with our tarot study? I like this one. Okay. From Oak Mama, where do we go next with our tarot study? I mean, there's always the playlist for anybody who missed some of the earlier playdates. I know it's not quite the same as being there live, but oh, and Patrice says, how do we prepare for whatever comes next? So even though those are really similar, I'm going to go ahead and capture both of them because how do we prepare for whatever comes next? Or should we move one of these to the next week? Let me know what you think, Patrice. I think they're slightly different because one is tarot specific and one is a bit more general. But if anybody wants it for next week, let me know. And then I have, oh, you guys have so many. The House of Divination. Oh, okay. So probably somebody in the chat has already said, but what we try to do is answer questions that are kind of good for us all to be able to take some advice on. So we don't necessarily answer specific questions. So Robin, you're kind of on the same path here as Patrice. So I feel like we got that. Thank you, Scott. Let's see. Is it time or should we wait? Is it time or that is a bit cryptic. Is it time to do so? Help me. Somebody help me get that into a collective question and I will see if I can grab it. All right, so from Kristen, how do we keep moving forward when obligations tax us energetically? Okay, that's a tricky one. And a question I think we can all relate to at one time or another. Yesterday, I had no energy. How do we keep moving forward when obligations, thank you guys for bringing questions, tax us energetically? Feeling like a bit of a 9 of Wands moment, is it? All right. We need to know how to celebrate so we show up with the right stuff. Ooh, I like that. All right, Patrice, how can we use what we've learned to help and support others? Oh, I love that. Okay. Oh, did you give me 2 questions, Patrice? Oh, you know what then? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that question for this week and the other one about how do we prepare for whatever comes next. I'm going to put that on next week, if that's cool with you, because I think that'll be a great question to answer next week. All right. I'm taking some artistic and host liberties at the moment. All right. And then I'm going to put this one up here. This is going to be number 3. You guys have, I'm having to organize today. All right. And then from Patrice, how can we use what we've learned to help and support others? All right. I think I need a total of 2 more questions. So hopefully they're in here. Ooh, okay. So from Scott, so the 5th question for today, what kind of changes are coming for us this week? Oh, you guys are awesome. You did not let me down. Scorpio. Why can't I spell Scorpio? Tarot. What? Sorry, you have to wait while I get these down. What kind of changes are coming for us this week? All right, so I have 5 questions for today. And then, and then I have that one. Oh, you guys brought so many. All right, since Oak Mom, I got one of your questions. I'm gonna take Gianna Gracia Tarot's question here for next week. You guys were awesome. Thank you. I'm sure there were so many I missed, and it wasn't on purpose, and I wasn't picking and choosing, other than to just get a couple of different questions in here. Gracia Tarot, how can through difficult, I didn't think I'd get so many. You guys are awesome. All right, I'm coming back. What mail order coffee company do you recommend? I don't, Shane gets a mail order coffee. What valuable lesson have we learned from these tarot play dates? Oh, you're getting me with that one. I really love that one, T-Cat. Oh, okay, Patrice, you gave me a different question. Okay, that's perfect then, because what I'm going to do, since you have the question for what we can learn to help and support others, how do we prepare for whatever comes next, which was kind of similar to where do we go next? Okay, so I'm going to get TCAT's question in here, and then I will be good. I'll be good. What valuable lesson? I'm assuming the word lesson goes in there. Thank you, Patrice, for helping me clarify that. Okay, TCAT. What? This will be a next week question. Lesson have we learned from these tarot play dates? Okay, my friends. All right, so for this week, let's see if I got this all down. I'm sorry if I missed anything here. Hey, Queen Asset Hero, nice to see you in. Okay, I have from Shane today, making it just in the nick of time. What advice can we take into making a decision that has been on our mind? From Oak Mama, where do we go next with our tarot study? From Kristen Louise, I guess I don't have the tarot in there, but we all know who that is. How do we keep moving forward when obligations tax us energetically? From Patrice, how can we use what we've learned to help and support others? And from Scott, Scorpio Moon Tarot, what kind of changes are coming for us this week? And in 2 weeks, we will be back to answer from Lily how we can celebrate the end of Tarot Playdate. From TCAT, what valuable lesson have we learned from these tarot playdates? And from Gianna Gracia Tarot, how can we go through difficult moments in our life? So hopefully those questions will all still stand for next week. And now it is time to get to shuffling. So here we go. All right, let's see how we do here. What advice can we take? This is what I'm doing, folks. It's kind of like, you know, what's the musical chairs, right? Like when I stop reading the questions, then I'll just pull the card. All right, what advice can we take into making a decision that has been on our mind? Where do we go next with our tarot study? How do we keep moving forward when obligations tax us energetically? How can we use what we've learned to help and support others? And what kind of changes are coming for us this week? I had a feeling this is the one that was going to come up. Just based on those questions alone, we have the Page of Swords. All right. How many of you knew that this was probably going to be the card that we got? I don't know how many people are sort of caught up with what 2 cards were left. Dropsies to decide. Yeah, I didn't drop. It was too hard to drop from 2 cards. Riffle shuffle them. I mean, that sure would do any good. That would be talented, though. Musical chairs never gets old. Watching 2 adults trying to get into 1 chair. Yeah, I'm with you, Robin. The Empress will be last. What do you think about that, Kristen? Oh, except for now, people have spoiled it for those who weren't keeping track. How do I feel about this wonderful series? You know, Richie, I feel proud. I'm proud of all of us who have come together, have stuck with it. I'm proud that I powered through sometimes when keeping a 78-week-long commitment can sometimes be really challenging. I'm proud of the participation, the people in the community who know that this thing is here and is meant to be a collaborative resource. And I'm also really grateful and really appreciative to everybody who has participated and made it what it is. Because me just up here kind of talking about the cards wouldn't have been the same. I think those videos are great and I often enjoy watching them, but you guys have made it what it is. And all the people who have participated before, who maybe aren't engaged with YouTube or the tarot community anymore, or this channel for whatever reason, I appreciate everybody who's ever participated. So there's that. All right, my friends. Let's see. Donna says, I knew the Empress was one of the 2, but not the other, and thought the Empress would be for the last episode. I really wanted that 10 of Cups to come up, and people kept saying, if it were me, I would have rigged it. I'm like, I can't do that. As much as it's tempting, I needed this to be authentic for all of you. Amazing ASMR says, I hoped it would be that one this week because I hoped the Empress would be last. I'll be interested to know. We're going to talk more about this next week, or no, in 2 weeks, why you guys all wanted that card to be the last one. I'm glad you've made it, though. You've been able to participate for at least the last few weeks, Scott, so that's been great. Shanti says, a wonderful adventure. Thank you, Jen. Oh, you guys, you can't make me cry. It's not even the last one yet. That's not allowed. I can't believe my notebook is almost full. You know what? I get to relive Tarot Playdate when I actually go back through and watch them and fill up my notebook because it needs to happen still. All right, my friends, let's talk about the initial thoughts and meanings, just generically speaking, that we have for the Page of Swords. I'm going to get as you know, the melanated's got to come out, right? So you guys don't have to yell at me today. I'm going to get some coffee. It's practically cold now. So here we have the melanated and our original. What meanings typically come to mind first? And let me scooch up so when I rest my elbow, you can still see the cards and scooch me over. There we go. Let's see here. Let's take a swipe at the page. That's right. Let's swing that sword. Let's see what we get, Robin. Kristen says, I wish I had taken notes this whole time. I mean, you can always go back and watch them. And Okama says, oh, for it coming up next week because it feels like the start of something new. I totally get that. Susie says, oh, I love this thought, Susie. The first impression, this person has found new confidence. I don't know that that's ever actually a meaning that I've associated with this, but I love that. The student, yes, all of our pages, right? These are people who are learning and who are growing. Robin says he's standing in the wind, swatting away at the clouds of confusion. Shane, all things must come to an end, but that doesn't mean you haven't enjoyed it or loved it. Enjoy it while it lasts and love the memories, but don't dwell on the end. This is very good advice, my wise son. Get your liminal 11 coloring books and rewatch. You are such a good cheerleader for folks, Jenna. Lily says, hold the power of expression. Chris says, information is his tool, prides himself on his mind. Yeah, why am I? Okay, I'm going to hold one at a time because I'm like wonky today. I don't know what the deal is there. And I will give you the close-up look that we usually do. And Patrice says, Jen, I was such a newbie when we started and have been so grateful to be part of this amazing TPD community. Well, I've been very grateful to have you be a part of it as well. Okay, Donna says, a new idea. Okwama, page, fire of air, novice of communication of ideas, right? So sometimes the page can be a little like, oh, maybe we could learn to communicate that a little less bluntly, a little less harshly, a little less wild, right? But they're still working on getting their point across. Antoinette says, on guard. Oh, yeah, holding that sword, getting ready to swing if it needs to. Chris says, can sometimes be a nosy, gossipy little git. Did I say that right? Little git. Pal's Tarot Tent. Hi, Pal's Tarot Tent. Sharpen the self. Kristen Louise, the kid in the front of the class that always puts their hand up. Okay, I wasn't that in high school, but then when I went back to school as an adult and attended college courses, I was so that, I can't even say I was a kid. I was just that person. I'm sure that's surprising for many. Let's see. Gianna says, curiosity, a want for knowledge, a new idea. I often think a bit about this as like forming kind of all the new ideas and not quite sure knowing what direction to focus just yet. Lily says, he seems like the fool, but he sees behind him, ready to go ahead with more powerful. Is there more coming after that maybe? Scott says, inspiration and curiosity, question mark, be ready for challenges that come. Antoinette, new beginnings, starting a new learning curve. Pamela says, the birds swirling around above his head give me the impression that his thoughts are being freed. Now, it's interesting that you've seen that or noticed that. I feel like this is one of those things that when I hold this up close, I'd be like, oh, I never noticed the birds before, because I think I've never noticed the birds before. So we'll have to take a close-up look at that here in a minute. Antoinette, oof, those darn air signs and all their knowledge. I am an air sign. I'm a Libra, so it does make sense that I would have done that in class. Lily says, like a golfer, ready to send waltz arguments? I might be missing that one. Yes, yay for air signs. Any other kind of general? So when we think about intellect, thoughts, ideas, do we see this page as, now I know a lot of people with the court cards, they tend to read them as sort of a progression of age. So do you read this as a youthful person? Do you read this as somebody who's newer in their journey? That's, I think, how I tend to look at the courts, is sort of this progression and kind of different energy levels. I don't necessarily read it literally as a young person, but somebody who's young and new in this particular aspect of their journey, of their life, whatever it is that kind of the question revolves around. That's sort of how I look at it. Kristen says, I'm very Page of Swordsy, curious, thirst for knowledge, nerdy to an annoyance, completely scattered and undisciplined in my approaches. So, you know, incorporating all of the all of the elements, right? Positive, shadowy elements, it's all part and parcel of the same package. But, you know, there's an enthusiasm about that, even though it can be klutzy and a little scattered. The enthusiasm is contagious and can be really beautiful. T-Cat says, I like the Page of Swords. It brings to my mind a witty teenager. Page of Swords can mean that it's time to learn something new and even question your beliefs and ideas, right? And also times I can see this as like the activist, right? It's like, I'm going to swing my ideas around. You need to hear them. I'm going to just get them out there. It doesn't have to be organized. As long as you hear it, it's good. As long as I express it, it's good. You know, so I can see that kind of energy in this as well. Robin says, the way he appears on the horizon with that little tree, he looks like a giant. It's an interesting thing to look at, the proportion in this card for sure. Antoinette says, I've discovered a lot of us in the community are air signs. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, I know a lot of folks, and a lot of my close friends often tend to be air signs as well. We seem to like to stick together, I think. Chris says, the pages have a proclivity for their element, but they are new to it, so their wielding of it can sometimes need refinement. Exactly. Lily says, eager to fight it out like a challenge of eloquence. So when we get to the activity for today, it's kind of along those lines. Donna says, I feel like I should have been an air sign, but I'm not. Is it your rising sign, perhaps? Gianna says, yes, you could be of old age, but young in ideas. Does that make sense in English? Yes, it does. It makes absolute sense. Hal says, I read it as a child. So you kind of go with that, that approach where you read these as literal age. What's the word I want? Starts with a C. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. Donna, maybe your descent or ascendant. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for there, Susie. Chris says, innovation. This page is good at thinking outside the box and coming up with alternative solutions. The Page of Swords from the Light Seers is my fave. Okay, I'm not going to try and describe the card again, because last time we did that, I ended up describing the page instead of the Knight of Cups or something. Kristen says, coming out of the Ten of Swords, the page is someone who has gone through a hard journey, but they are still young at heart and have a beginner's mind with a thirst of knowledge and self-expression. Lady D. Hi, Lady D. I'm fire. All right, there's a fire sign in the house. Long Mantero. Richie says, pages remind me of when kids constantly ask, why? Why? But why? Learning through questioning, practice, and playing. And it's not just children that do this. My son-in-law did this to me very recently, but I kept answering. I'm pretty sure it was Oliver that did that, Shane. Oak Mama's an earth sign. All right, see, we've got a bunch of us in here. We've got all of the elements. We're well-rounded. Let me see here. Chris says, ooh, do I get to chase someone with a sword as part of this week's activity? We have no shortage of swords in this house. True story. I mean, well, if you want, embrace it. Embody the page. Whatever floats your boat, my friend. Robin says, let your freak flag fly. His ponytail is blowing in the wind. Yeah, he's free, right? He's not hindered. Shade says, of course it was. Yeah, Oliver, why? I'm like, all right, I can play this game. This will be fun. Kristen said, the page is so new and passionate that they don't know they should feel ashamed of their lack of skill. They are driven by the love of their suit. I have so many thoughts about what you just said because, and I know you put it in quotes, right? The idea that we tend to take on this idea of shame and self-editing and kind of limiting ourselves based on expectations of others, societal expectations, all of those things. And I think then that is why it can be so great to tap into that page energy and not always be looking to get out of it, because that youthful enthusiasm and exuberance and, you know, who cares what other people think? This is enriching my life, or this is allowing me to explore and learn something new. I think we should definitely embrace that more often. Hi, Kay. Nice to see you in. And, oh, yes, Shane. This is such an important part. Like, you don't have to be good at something to enjoy something. And this has been something that's taken me some years to learn. Perfectionist in recovery, I call myself, right? But you can enjoy something and not have to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you don't have to care how it gets received once you put whatever it is into the world or whatever energy you've invested in something. I think this is a very important message. And let's see here. Debbie says, youthful enthusiasm for learning. Shane says, be bad. Well, you don't have to be bad, but have fun, enjoy it. No one is good at something without practice. That's right, Shane, the artist in the family. You know? Let's see. Antoinette says, free from hierarchical confines on his search for answers, challenge, and learn. Kristen says, I'm still trying to learn this. Yeah, I think you and I are on similar journeys in some ways like that, Kristen. Let's see. Be bad. Oh, Al's jumping on that one. Kay says, I mean, a hard... What? I'm afraid to read that out loud because I don't know the... Oh, it can be a hard one, Kristen. Oh, I see. I gotcha. It's not just hard on Kristen. I see what you're saying. I gotcha. All right, my friends. Let's take a close-up look and dive into the symbols. I don't think we have Simon here today. He's missing the second to last one. Have you messaged your father, Al? All right, D Lady, the young at heart page needs to be allowed to make mistakes and do what makes them feel good. And it is our mistakes and it is our failures from which we learn. If we don't make them, if we're not willing to take those risks, we can't move forward. We can't progress. Nothing is perfect all along the way, right? We have to be not afraid to fall down. Otherwise, we'd never leave the house. Some of us don't, but you know what I mean. All right, so here's our Page of Swords. We do have those birds flying above his head. Holding on. Yep. Is that a ponytail? It really does. Although his hair looks green. Does he need to dye the ends of his hair? And then we have the red boots. So we know sometimes red really means confidence. Come on, we want our focus back. There we go. We've got fluffy clouds. The wind is blowing in the same direction as the hair. Haven't we seen before where like the wind was blowing in a different direction? It looks like we're on like a hilltop. Now, do you see the blue? Do you see these? Wait, which side is it? This side? Yeah. Do you see those as mountains or water? What do you think? All right, let's look at the melanated. Alice got the book. Thank you, darling. You are such a good backup plan for that. Here's our page. Ooh, this page looks intense. Serious. I am serious about this. And rather than kind of the pink tunic, we have a real red, lots of this bright yellow. Okay, so now I see water and mountains in this particular one. So we have kind of all of the elements. So blue water and blue mountains, perhaps. I like this one. I like the kind of the distinguishing of the lines there. All right, let's see what you guys thought here. Elle says, oh, Susie asked, is his head in the clouds? I just saw that. Yeah, I mean, it certainly can be seen that way. In fact, did I have, oh no, it was a 7 of Cups from the Tarot of the Abyss, where the figure literally had their head in the clouds. But there's got to be some element of that with the page, don't you think? All right, so Elle says, the figure's position, even the page fully commands the sword, the weapon of the mind, one leg firmly placed on ground, the other merely incidental. So maybe that is going to allow for some flexibility of movement, right? If you have one leg planted and the other one not, you can quickly pivot in the direction that you need to go. So maybe that will allow for quick maneuvering and adaptation, right? It's like, oh, tried that. That didn't quite work. I'm going to kind of quickly move in another direction. This page perhaps has quite a bit more flexibility, which is something I hadn't really thought of before. If we look at the knight, right, they're charging forward. It's going to be a little bit difficult for them to quickly change direction because of all of that forward momentum. The page can quickly pivot. I love that concept. That the foot thing is apparently going to be my new obsession in the Page of Swords. Apparently, Elle is the father now. All right, let me see what else you guys have going on here. With the green hair. He's been swimming in a chlorinated pool to try and connect his emotions. Yeah, I mean, too much chlorine. Whoops. All right, Elle says the red boots. So when we're talking about the book, I think we have a couple of new folks in here, at least one. Elle is giving us some of the definitions of the symbols as presented in this book, The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot. It's really a fun book to, I know I say this every week, so you guys have all heard it, but many of you have heard it. But it's great for looking into the different symbols of the cards. So the red boots, hotspur, fanaticism, willpower, enterprise, the opposite of bloodless ghost. I don't know half the things I typed. I don't know half the things you typed either, Elle. I don't know if anybody else does here. All right, Nikki Roots. Hey, Nikki. His stance and grip are not good for actual fighting. In the first, this one grips better to swing and hit. Hip, hit. Got it. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. Elle says the violet clothing. Now, that's interesting because we have different clothing in the melanated, right? But violet marks one of the limits of visible light next to ultraviolet radiation, the unseen, frontier spirit, lack of respect, infringement of limits. Yeah, they're not going to be boxed in, this page. Donna says, that looks like the reservoir near my house, water with mountains in the background. A reservoir of knowledge, perhaps. Yeah, but then also still the ability to connect with the emotions, right? I like when we see in the cards that fully represent an element, being able to bring in the other elements so we don't get too one-dimensional, right, with a lot of these. And let me find my chat that just jumped again. Okuma says maybe he's in training and he's practicing. So now I'm picturing Arya from Game of Thrones when she's first learning to sword fight. She's a total Page of Swords, right? At least through the good first bit of the series. I wonder if she is the Page of Swords in the Game of Thrones tarot that I have. They're playing golf, 18 holes of learning to go. Robin says, maybe he's getting ready to cut off that unruly hair. You never know. Shane says, or get pushed over, locked leg bad, but symbolism different than actual thing. Oh, so talking about the stance. Okay, fair enough. A different perspective there. Chris says, what is drawn on the non-melanated pages books or boots? Is it just a buckle, lace, or some other symbol? Let's take a close-up look at that for you. I'm going to probably have to focus on his face. Yeah, that's interesting. It almost looks like a chain, doesn't it? Or maybe some seam. Yeah, here we just have the cuffed boots, but we don't have kind of the extra fancy embroidery. Maybe he's somewhat fancy. Oh, good, Lily. I'm glad you can understand. I know sometimes I talk too fast too. So if you need me to slow down, because I know we have some folks in here who do not have English as their first language, please don't hesitate to let me know that. Dee says the heron trees are being blown about. The red boots, he's ready for action. Elle says the yellow-green landscape, green is growth, nature, naturalness, freshness, hope, and gradual development. Yellow is envy, gold, and greed, which is interesting because he's got quite a bit of yellow on him. And then here we have this little bit of his tights in this version kind of have a bit of a greenish tint, where here they're quite yellow. So maybe it's like, I want all the things. I want to be able to do all the things. I want to have all of the knowledge. Again, sometimes as youths or when we have youthful energy, we really are just trying to take on as much as we can, or we want to absorb as much as we can, or get as much as we can. Anne says, don't know if I mentioned already, but feet pointing in opposite directions show indecision. Yeah, there's kind of a lack of commitment that's going on there, right? Okay, Elle says from the book here, the blue mountains, spiritual landscape, all parts of scene are necessary. Marriage between heaven and earth, aspiration and reality. It's 11:11 here in Seattle, by the way. Make a wish. All right, Elle says, flock of birds up here above his head that somebody noticed for me today. The brainstorming, creative and multifaceted thinking, idolization, absent-mindedness, getting sidetracked, and a lack of focus. All those ideas, flitting about that can either be really positive or really distracting. Chris, he's a fancy bitch. Oh, Shanti, your first language is French. I would say something in French, but then I just feel like I would embarrass myself. But bonjour. All right. Boot design kind of looks like Pixie's signature to me. Yeah, especially from far away. It did kind of look like that, didn't it? Right? But I think up close, then it kind of starts to lose that impact a little bit. Antoinette says maybe he comes from Richie's Theater, set up with those fancy schmancy accessories. Yeah, he wants to look fancy. Allie Saylor, hi Allie. This book, the book definition mentioned Hotspur. Historically, and in Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1, Hotspur, Henry Percy, is a rebel, an opposing force to established ideas. Well, that sounds very Page of Swords, for sure. All right, bringing in some more elements here. The light blue sky, the heavens equal divine realm and realm of will. Light blue equals open sky and clear water. Right, so maybe, this really can represent sort of the clarity of thinking and ideas that can happen here. The sword going out of the frame, we can grasp things way beyond our own horizons. Robin notes here, the grass and yellow look like sand dunes along the shoreline. Or like how when you're getting close to the beach, right, and the grass starts to turn to sand. I'm going to the ocean in a few weeks. I'm very excited about this. Elle says the sky, wind is clearing the clouds, breath of fresh air and intellectual clarification. Pamela says, I also see the color of his tights as a connection to the earth. Is that because of like the yellow sort of matching what we have in the landscape here? Mm-hmm. It's the ADHD card. I can see that. Lily is also French. Okay, Richie says, sorry to say, Jen, but Arya isn't Page of Swords in that deck. It's one of the Sons of the Heartbeat, Daenerys' soldiers. Well, it should be Arya. Should it not? Is she Knight of Swords then? She's got to be a sword something. All right, I haven't looked at that deck in eons. L, a leg to stand on, the free leg, alternation between play and industriousness, taking it lightly and perseverance, indecisiveness and flirtatiousness, right? Pivot. I want to be able to pivot on a dime. And let's see here. Okay, I think I made it to the bottom of most of your comments here. Shall we look at one of our alternative decks? Now, Simon's going to be sad he missed this one because my first alternate deck this week is I'm going to challenge y'all with the Shimmering Veil Tarot by Scylla Conway. It's very kind of abstract art style. Okay, let's find our clouds. So it's clouds instead of swords. Ooh, okay, this is an image. I might grab this book too. Oh, wait. Don't do that, Jen. Sorry, I always forget that I need to make things easy for me to put away later. All right, I'm going to get the book. And then, here we go. Now we got it. So this is the first edition that didn't have the edging on the cards, for those of you who have seen a couple of editions of this deck. But this is our page of clouds or air in this deck. Lots of energy and movement, though. We still see, kind of the clouds in the background, but the energy seems very busy and a little more frantic today. Hi, Erin. Welcome in. Kristen said, I collect swords. Airhead me totally sliced my hands when I got my first set. Haven't since then. Well, you just got excited. You wanted to touch the swords, make sure they were sharp, right? And, yeah, that's true. We are turning our final page in our book of tarot. Very true. What do you guys think about this particular page? Scott says, ooh, I love this page. Susie says, spiraling up. Yeah, this energy here that's kind of twisting and spiraling. Hopefully they're not getting sucked down the vortex of their own ideas. Hopefully it's upward movement and not spiraling down movement. Erin says, it makes me think of the myth of Icarus. Flying too close to the sun? That's Icarus, right? Is that right? Chris says, this page looks like they are shape-shifting to from a bird of some kind. So perhaps getting ready to take flight, maybe coming down from flight. Certainly connected to the air element, I feel like. All right, I totally want to read this book because I know she has some really cool things that she says about the cards. Let's see what we got. And you guys, please keep your ideas coming as well. Don't have really, it looks bright in here, but it's really not that bright in here. Traditionally, the page of air is a reluctant, oh my gosh, a reluctant warrior. She will fight, but only when she believes in the cause. Here, she's shown with wings. I apologize, but she neither flies nor lights. Instead, she seems to be drawn forward to an unknown future. A bird-like crest or helmet stands atop her head, and her white face reflects a strange ambivalence, almost as if she has no idea who or what she is. Yeah, I just need to do the old lady thing and hold this way further away from me. In the background, a misty range of mountain. Oh my gosh. All right, it's too dark for me. All right. You kind of get the idea. I'm so sorry. It's just too dim light in here for me to read that tiny print. That's what happens when you get past 40, All right, so Erin says, yep, too close to the sun. Icarus's father built the labyrinth for the Minotaur. House of Divination, the head in the clouds, looking beyond the clouds to the spirit. Oh, I like that. Susie says the face is aging to me, gaining wisdom with age. Maybe we're starting to see that progression. Amazing ASMR looks heavy, darker, maybe a more shadowy aspect of the Page of Swords. Yeah, the energy seems not very controlled, which is, I guess, true of what I sort of think about this one as well. But here this feels like a lot more obvious. T-Cat says she looks like a huge storm cloud coming through in a loud and confident way. Yes. Yes, and I can show you the face up close again here. Does it feel controlled? Does she seem surprised? It does feel like there are wings there, though, doesn't it? It's really interesting. It's really pretty. I'm sorry I can't read that better. Oh, wait, you know what? Hold on. You guys are going to see me with my reading glasses. I really want to read the rest of this. All right. Okay. Now, do I look studious? I forgot that I brought them in here. All right, we are not giving up, maybe to the point of obnoxiousness, but I'm going to read it anyway. All right, now I can see it. In the background, a misty range of mountain ranges provide her with grounding, though her spirit appears almost insubstantial. This insecurity will undermine her, leaving her prey to panic attacks and a draining lack of self-confidence. The page's task then is to ground herself, to find what she stands for. She will often have very unusual gifts. Her uncertainty and innocence and the ability to tell the unvarnished truth, for instance, and the ability to tell the unvarnished truth, for instance. If she can acknowledge these strengths, she will find her clarity of vision will help not only herself, but everyone around her. Her best course of action is to find work that she considers worthwhile, which will enable her to find her feet and grow strong. Communication is her meter and the ability to see different points of view without being swayed from one to the other. All right, we'll leave these out just in case we need them. All right, let's see what you guys thought here. Professor, yeah, that was my new look today. Antoinette says, is this the troublemaker Chris was talking about, whispering secrets? Ooh, yeah, the gossiper. Donna says, her face has a troubled look, like she has learned something disturbing. White Tree Tarot says, her face expression looks terrified to me, like she's being sucked into some vortex on the right side. I know, it's like, oh, I lost control of that. Oh, no. And Susie says she's almost like flying a kite. Mm-hmm. Dee says, flights of fancy. The page has a way to go, but takeoff has stalled. Ooh. And then Amazing ASMR says, oh, goodness, that face. She seems worried, disappointed. Maybe she rushed in too quickly. The airiness is definitely there, and it lacks some of the grounding because, well, there's no feet. And that's kind of what the book was saying, too, right? She needs to get grounded. All right. Let's answer or use this card. I was almost going to switch cards. Ooh. This is Shane's question today. So Shane asked, what advice can we take into making a decision that has been on our mind? So how would we use this card to answer the question? What advice can we take into making a decision that has been on our mind? So this card for me, and I really want you guys to tell me what you think because you'll have great answers, but this almost feels like a warning, like make sure you have some grounding in reality and that you're not just kind of like flitting from one thing to the other. So if you feel a little kind of being blown around by the wind and you kind of just want to go with the flow or the path of least resistance, the place that, make sure you're taking that moment to ground yourself before making that decision, so that you don't get sucked into the vortex is kind of what I'm thinking. But I feel like there's some other ways that we might be able to answer this. Oh, I like this, Elle. Don't let it control you. You control it. You're in charge. I try to tell this to my dog every day on a walk. I'm in charge, Fawn. But, Susie says, think on it. Okay, Oklahoma said the same thing I did. Get grounding, right? It does feel like we're like, don't get blown away by your decision. Okay, getting ready to head to work, so you're listening. We're here giving you lots of advice, Shane. Is this also a reminder to have a beginner's mind? I think that's a great with the Page of Swords in general, kind of regardless of the depiction. I think that's a really great way to look at that. It's like, look at it kind of with that fresh perspective. Look at it from the other side. Don't be so caught up in the one viewpoint. And, maybe don't swing the sword too recklessly. Shannon Cardinal, hello. We're actually only just, we're not even quite, we're about midway through, I guess, so not even the last bit yet, but nice to see you. Chris says, perhaps put some distance between yourself and the issue in order to gain that bird's eye perspective. Know when to be in the air and when to land, i.e. when you need to be in your thoughts and when you need to act. Yeah, and don't let, I'm pulling out one of these other cards, right? But sometimes those ideas, we let them fly around our head, and we don't really do anything with it. They just kind of hang out up there. This has been a problem for me lately. It's like I've got all of these ideas. They're swirling around in my head, but actually grounding myself so that I can take some kind of legitimate action, that can be more challenging when you're in this kind of airy headspace. Dee says, in the hands of a novice, a sword can be dangerous, right? Or the first time you try to collect swords, you cut yourself, right? It happens. Amazing ASMR says, take time to plan carefully or be ready for more, what's the word, worry? I guess either way, plan for the many possibilities of your decisions. Yeah, understand that sometimes you cannot actually, really never, for the most part. I guess we think we can, and sometimes we get lucky. We can't truly predict the outcome or all of the potential consequences. Oftentimes there are still surprises no matter how well we plan. And let's see here. Donna says, when overwhelmed with too many options, take time to methodically work through the pros and cons of each. Yeah, make that list. Antoinette says, are you overthinking it? Maybe look at the facts and stop trying to preempt stuff that just become blocks to decisions. Yes. And then Lily says, floating on air messages. Be aware of what can happen. House of Divination. If the decision is something that you can't control, look beyond the clouds and see what your spiritual self says. If it is something you can control, get grounded. I love that. Diane, follow your gut. Do what you love. The money will follow. Ooh. I wonder, Diane, are you having some insight? Is this about money, perhaps, for Shane? Paul says, say nothing until you have more facts. T-Cat, whatever decision you will be making, for sure that you know all the facts about the matter, you are okay with the consequences of your actions. And then Aaron says, counter question, because I usually need grounding myself. What does grounding look like? Without a crash and burn into the top of the mountain. Use the wings to let yourself down to the ground gently. Scott says, organize the thoughts so we're not just acting on a whim. Kristen says, birds are able to fly because the air pressure above the wings is lowered. Keep the pressure off yourself. Only then can you fly. Dee says, we fool only ourselves if we think we are in control, right? White Tree Tarot says, with this depiction, it really seems to be a warning. Don't fly too close to the sun or the active vortexes. Be careful not to get blown away. And Chris says, it could simply be saying you need to learn more, do more research. There's more info to be had. Yeah, to maybe be better prepared. And again, maybe allow for some of that grounding. Hi, Mitchell. Nice of you to listen and drive. I'm glad you were safe. No chatting and driving. And then Antoinette says, for the spiritual, the colors here suggest seeing and knowing without creating judgment on the guided decision. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. We are going to have to get a move on to cover the next 4 decks in about 20 minutes. So we get about, 5 minutes a deck? All right. We're going to have to move. This one should be pretty quick because this is very RWS clone-ish. And here I have the Whispering Spirits by Joanna Nelson. So just now after that kind of deep and dark card, we're going to go light and fluffy with these cute little spirits. Okay. I don't know why my nose always gets stuffy during play date. I think it's all the talking. I'm not used to all the talking. All the peopling. All right. But you guys are good peoples to hang out with. I am stalling as I try to get these cards back in the box. Okay. All right, so here is our cute little Page of Swords from the Whispering Spirits. Let me know what you think. We always have some, so we have the birds, the origami birds flying in the sky. Now this page is like, I know it's not a helmet, but it kind of looks like a helmet to me. This page is kind of standing at the ready, but the energy is more contained for me. I don't know what you guys think. Light and fluffy, so much for grounding. Well, I say light and fluffy, but this page actually looks decently grounded, don't they? Although hovering precariously near that cliff's edge, right? So there's still some risk here, still a little bit of uncertainty. They have both legs together. So, if the wind, the wind's going that way. If the wind topples him over, he's in the water. This lily is the Whispering Spirits Tarot by Joanna Nelson. I think it's still available on Etsy. She has a shop there. I don't know if she has a regular website now that I think about it. Poor Paige, is he afraid to talk? Donna says they look a little unsure of themselves. Dee says, is his face upside down? You know, he's a little spirit, so her creatures are always a little fantastical. But I feel like that's just like two little dots right there. His mouth is covered. Maybe it's so he doesn't speak too quickly. So his mouth has been covered. Aaron says, reminds me of the Who's in Whoville with the little sprout growing out of his hood thingy. Oh, yeah, that's true. Everything is going to be all right as the birds, clouds, trees, and blade are pointing right. That's true. They are kind of heading all in the same direction. Chris says, ooh, kind of taking something 2D, if we can call paper 2D, and making something 3D, using the intellect to transcend current reality and gain a whole new perspective. Oh, Elle, thank you for posting a link to where you can find this on Etsy. Susie says, cute deck, my style. Aaron says, much more of a timid page. Yeah, I feel this page is a bit more cautious, a little less ready than maybe we see here, right? You know, the sword's up, kind of ready to swing. Here, I feel like the page is still like, do I need to get involved? Do I need to start on this? I'm not sure. Lily says he breathes childhood, the inner child who plays the knight, bending the origami. Yeah. All right, just because I know we're a little, since we got carried away with the original, let's feel free to bring generic answers as well. But if we were to answer Okwama's question, where do we go next with our tarot study? And I love the Page of Swords answering this particular question. You know, somebody earlier said, was it you, Kristen? Somebody said, like, approach it with beginner's mind. There is never not something to learn with tarot. I mean, I have a stack. Well, they're technically in a bookcase, but if I were to stack them up, they would be out of frame, like this Page's Sword, with the number of books I still have to read, the number of resources that are out there. There's no shortage of learning. And maybe it's, you know, here we have a little bit of tentativeness, right? Maybe it's venturing into something that we're a little unsure about and not quite as confident about. Maybe we feel really solid with Rider-Waite-Smith, and maybe we should, you know, if we really want to expand and we really want to take kind of a new journey, maybe it's learning a bit more about Tarot de Marseille or the Thoth system, or, you know, some other form of divination. But I'm going to stick with tarot just for now. There's just some thoughts. All right, what do you guys say here? Oh, that's cute. The origami cranes are interesting. In Japan, if you fold 1,000, your wish will come true. Well, they make you work for it, don't they? Dee says, it has enormous feet, very grounding, but I wish he'd come away from the edge, right? Can't take away all the risk, or what fun is that with the page? Chris says, you never know. Maybe under that hood, they have their game face on. You know, that's true. We're only seeing just the eyes. Scott says, where your inspiration leads. So where do you go next with tarot? Go where you're inspired to go. What excites you? What makes you feel that youthful enthusiasm? Debbie says, face forward and be ready for what's next. Lily says, response, near the sea or a fortified castle. Ooh, yeah. Take your deck, take your books, and go to the ocean. I'm going to do that. maybe that will inspire me to do some more learning. Elle says, wind whistling wildly around them, the page stands on a hill, impatient in the storm, energy builds within and around them, fueling their desire and eagerness to make a start and show the world what they know. Is that from Joanna? And did, oh yeah, Trish Sullivan wrote the guidebook for this. She does lovely work. She also does the guidebooks for the 78 tarot decks. Kristen says, oh no, is this card telling me to learn Lenormand? You know, if you say, oh no, that doesn't feel very Page of Swords energy to me. You'd be like, oh yes. Right? You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But if you want to, see what else we have here. On the edge of the cliff like the fool. Let's see what happens. Yes. White Tree Tarot says, we are ready for our next tarot battle. We have gotten smarter now. We wear our helmets, hats when it's so windy outside. Antoinette says, I'm feeling work on intuition. Oh, I like that too, right? Patrice says, we have some knowledge. Now we need to step forward to apply it. Time to step forward. Just not off the cliff. Take it into the world, right? Where it's, we're not drowning. Donna says, let our curiosity lead us to our next course of study. Dee says, playful learning. I get so very serious and fall into a rabbit hole without groups like this. Oh, yeah. Keep it light, keep it fun when you can. There's time for serious study, but there's also time to be playful and enjoy. Anne says, take steps to the left and plunge into other systems and esoteric practices. So Anne's like, yep, off the cliff. Off the cliff we go. Hi, Anne, by the way. Patrice says, just take that first step. You guys have lots of good advice for this one. T-Cat, we are most likely to deepen our knowledge about the tarot and see where our curiosity takes us. Aaron, with swords and communication, when we read tarot and give our verbal interpretations, the meanings really rely on our ability to put the images into words. Yes. Chris says, I think this card is telling us we have only scratched the surface. Tarot is forever learning. That's what I was trying to say, but you said it very succinctly. Donna, there is much to learn and study, and I want to learn it all. Same. Diane says, we're well-trained and ready to go forth with confidence. Yes. I mean, talk about a great foundation. I have learned so much from these play dates. Oopsie, let's see here. Yes, like the reminder to play. An amazing ASMR says, jumping off that serious study comment, I think it's nice to remember, and hopefully these play dates have shown us that it's all made up. We bring meaning to these cards, and that's a good thing. That's right. And, we read every week from that book, right? How those authors interpreted the symbols. But so many people have other meanings. And we've heard lots of other meanings, from Arthur Waite himself, from Rachel Pollack, we've all got different things we can bring to these for sure. All right. I have a new deck from my collection. Let me go ahead and turn this one off. All right. I might run just a few minutes long, but I'll try not to run too long today. I picked this up the other day in my local shop, my second Liminal and 11 deck. The only one I've had so far is the Modern Witch Tarot. So this is the second edition of the Luna Soul in the new fun box. And I have to admit, I wasn't sure if I would really care for it with the light pastels, but I really love the diversity in this deck. And it's got some really cool ways of depicting some of the images. All right, so if Jen is still here, she'll get excited here in a second because we have this deck. All right, these are the backs, by the way, if you guys haven't seen those. Here is our Page of Swords from the Luna Soul Tarot. Let's see if we can get some focus. There's a bit of trepidation on this page's face, but oh, that sword is beautiful. Windblown hair. Okay. Oh, I think there are pants. For a minute, I was like, oh, that's really risky outfit. But I think we have some pants on here. Now, this is really interesting. Our page is up in the clouds, kind of above the mountains. So we still have that interesting sense of unique proportions, I suppose. What do you guys think? That is oh, I love this thing. I know it's huge, but I love these mugs so much. They look frightened. Yeah, I was kind of, oh gosh, that is really, the pastels are not great on camera. Yeah, okay, we got this. I'll just rest my elbow on my laptop. Oh, why didn't I think of that before? All right, there we go. The sky is a very light blue. The light isn't picking it up great, but that's kind of what's happening there with the sky. Lily, he dreams to levitate. Aaron, head in the clouds. Yeah, we definitely have a very dreamy page happening here. Oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy. I can't get you guys the colors. There we go. What's he standing on? Nothing. Air, clouds. I feel like that's the water beneath, right? Down there. Chris says, haha, they have oh, where's my parachute? I knew I forgot something look about them. And yet they were feeling so confident at one point, right? They got up there. So what happened? Yeah, those are some good mud colors, Elle. Donna says, I'd be scared to being up that high. Mitchell says, they seem to be facing the wind, which is coming from what is traditionally the past, the left. Oh, yeah. Do our other pages look Oh, yeah, they all look the same way. Okay, that's right. But the wind is blowing toward the future, right? To the right. Elle says, I like it. Maybe I need this deck. What, Elle? You wouldn't like a deck that I like. That's just not what happens. Susie says, this person looks like they are struggling not to be swept away, holding their own, though. Yeah, but there's something about like this firm posture that's happening here. It's like, I got this. I got my good sword. I got my strength. I'm withstanding the wind. But yeah, the face is kind of like, maybe it's more of a struggle than it would appear from far away. Lily says, I feel ambitions to dominate the world and the elements. Ooh, I like that. Scott says, it looks like they're on a tightrope and want to go back really quick. Erin says, lovely artwork makes me think of the Seven of Cups with choices in the clouds. All right, so let's see if we can answer Kristen's question. How do we keep moving forward when obligations tax us energetically? And I'm going to be really literal for a moment here, but there's a rising above that's happening. It's okay, let's let the reality of what those obligations really are. Let's get some perspective on those. And perhaps maybe we are giving them too much weight and too much credence. Maybe it doesn't require as much effort to meet those obligations as we've been putting in. Or maybe we just need some space and distance, and we literally need to just rise above it for a bit, get away from it, so that we can focus on the things that we need to do that are going to inspire us, maybe help us regain some of that energy. Those are some thoughts I had. Antoinette says, rocky moment, get to the top. Dee says, I hope someone is holding onto his leg or he's roped onto something. You know, his head just might be up there. T-Cat says, she looks like she has climbed up on the clouds wearing a bathrobe and just realized the situation is kind of risky. It's like, oh, I got up. Now how do I get down? Lily says, defend positions. Pal says, accept the challenge. Donna says, keep your balance. I think we're all getting really inspired by what we literally see in this card, right? So how we can keep moving forward when obligations tax us energetically. But also maybe it's about tapping into, bye, House of Divination. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, yeah, Richard, that's right. Or is it Ricard or is it Richard? Okay. Erin, see the big picture and then lightly touch down where you want to start. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Like, get up, get the lay of the land, and then be like, okay, from higher up, I can see where it is that I need, where I can most efficiently invest the energy that I do have, so that you're using your resources wisely. I like that. Mitchell says, it's like they grabbed the sword from someone and then held up the first to say, no, it's mine now. Well, I mean, it is a pretty sword. Who wouldn't want to own that sword? Any other thoughts on this question for Kristen? I don't know if we still have Kristen here. If you have thoughts on this. Erin said, put the pen to paper. The pen is mightier than the sword, right? And thinking it through. The swords are all about the ideas, thinking it through, communicating clearly. A lot of times we waste energy on miscommunication. My goodness. All right, well, feel free to keep answers about this coming. I'm going to keep us kind of ticking along here. And I'm going to pull out, this one's made a few appearances in Playdate, the Joie de Vivre Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. Sometimes there can be a lot to look at, so we'll have to focus probably on the major elements, because this can be kind of a busy deck. Let's see what we got here. Oh, not too bad today, though. Oh, this is cute. Although at first, when I see this, and I probably shouldn't taint you, so I'll wait a second before I say what I was going to say here. Here's our Page of Swords. This is the backs, by the way, from the Joie de Vivre. I picked this up at my first Northwest Tarot Symposium. Come on, focus. There we go. I like the little goggles on the head. That's so cute. And the scarf is flying. So we see the hair flying, the scarf is flying. We don't have birds, but we have some kind of plant life. Oh, here we're at the edge of a cliff as well. Interesting that I guess really we kind of are on the edge of a cliff. It just doesn't look so extreme in this one. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me see if I can, oh, why didn't I figure out this resting my hand on the laptop earlier? Okay, Kristen's still here. Sweet page, says Oak Mama. When I first saw this from far away, it looked like the page was playing the violin, just kind of like how the sword and the scarf were aligned. Oak Mama says, is that his tail? Oh, yeah, that is a tail. Good spot on that. Having fun in freedom, says Susie. Oh, I like that. The Little Prince, no? I don't think literally, but I can see how that might remind you of that. Very Cheshire cat-ish. Yeah, that's kind of got, there's a bit of a mischievous grin going on there, isn't there? Yeah. I feel like this page is like, look at me, I'm so sweet. You don't know the trouble I'm about to cause. Yes, hi, Tammy Pie. This whole deck is very sweet. Yes, exactly, T-Cat. So mischievous. Erin says, ooh, a foxy page, very animalistic. Makes it feel more earthy, burrowing forest creature, i.e. more grounded. Amazing ASMR says, they look like they're having more fun. Yeah, there's more playfulness in this particular version. So let's see how that affects us answering Patrice's question. How can we use what we've learned to help and support others? Ooh, I have an answer for this. It's like steampunk meets Dr. Seuss. It really is. That's a very good, apt description. So how can we use what we've learned, I almost knocked my computer over, to help and support others? And right away, we've found that we can have fun in learning. It can be playful. It doesn't have to be a chore. It doesn't have to always be, pure studiousness. It is collaboration often breeds greater learning. I have learned much more from all of you than I think I would have just reading the books. I'm not sure I haven't even retained probably a quarter of everything I've learned. And when I watch these back, it'll give me an opportunity to absorb more of that. But I think being able to be playful and light and show others that we can learn and we can grow, but we can still be having fun and we can be enjoying each other's company. And I don't know, this card just makes me think of the playfulness aspect of all of it. But what do you guys think? White Tree Tarot said that smile. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. Shakespeare, and he's really ready to play. Yeah, seriously. Lily says, I think in answer to the question here, have confidence to our passion, because the stomach is the sun. Oh, because the stomach is the sun. Yes, right? So there's that confidence there right in the center, right in the gut, like trust that you know the direction that you're headed. Oh, I love that. Elle says, take up the sword when your comrades run out of spoons. Yeah, be willing to stand up for one another and be there for one another. Right? Don't be afraid to pick up the sword, even if you don't know everything and you don't know exactly what you're going to do with it, but just being ready to be there and to support and to fight sometimes when it's necessary. I think that is something we can do. To help folks find the humor in learning. Yes. Pal says, with questions instead of statements. Yeah, bring that beginner's mind, that curiosity, right? Ask, let them lead you rather than assuming that you have to lead the way. Be willing to follow and to gain that knowledge. Oh, I love that too. Erin says, knowing that sometimes you're smarter than you give yourself credit for. Also true. Self-doubt. Sometimes that's our biggest enemy. Chris says, solar plexus chakra activate. Now that you've gained a sense of self-identity and self-worth, it is time to go out and show others how to do the same. Yes. Amazing ASMR says, it's giving me fun like scientist vibe, or like fun scientist vibes. Old Bill Nye vibes or something in that area. A bit silly, but looks of learning to be had. Yes. Stomach? Oh, stomach. No, stomach. stomach. Did I say? Well, when I first read it, there was no H. So I got confused. Pamela says, I got a Peter Pan vibe. Yeah, totally. Antoinette says, so a double, one, or a two. Mitch's system, by starting something new and deciding how to build a new hobby business, sharing this advice and knowledge you have. Yes. Sometimes we can help and support others or we can't help if we're too worried about being a perfectionist or being overly serious. Sometimes what others need is a fun and friendly imperfection from you. Authenticity, more often than not, is going to put other people at ease, and we just don't give ourselves enough credit for that. Donna says, when others need advice, we can help point them in the right direction. Elle says, let them know they aren't a burden. If they need assistance, show up. Supporting, assisting, and caring can be fun and collaborative. Peer support, mutual aid, and community care is essential and true equity. Yes. TCAT, to gain perspective together, to learn new ideas from others, and be ready to share your knowledge too. Wow, you guys came for it with this one. Hey, Simon, nice to see you. And Lily says, affirm who we are. All right, we got one more. All right, we can do this. Hold on. I need a sip of my cold coffee out of my giant mug. All right, my last deck that I have here. Oh, let me turn off Patrice's question here. Is the 8 Coins Tattoo. One of the first decks to make a tarot playdate appearance, I think. I'll always remember, I think, the 3 of Swords from this deck from Tarot Playdate. It's funny, there are just some standouts that I have just because of Tarot Playdate. All right, these are the Cups, Swords. This one's always really intense. Page. Is that our page? That's our page. It's really pretty. We'll need to leave just a little time for reversals and the activity. Very simple back on these. Here's our Page of Swords from the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. Ooh, her hair's blowing the other way. She's got a good hand on that sword. Quite a grip there. Is that a bird? Is that what that is? I can't figure out. Yeah, I feel like that's a bird. Do my eyes deceive me? Oak Mama says, so melancholy. Yeah, I feel like a few of the cards in this deck have kind of that bit of a feel to them. What do you guys think? Terry Pie says, this is my favorite tattoo deck. This is my only, and I know there's another one called the Tattoo Tarot. I like this one much better. A lot of people have shown this deck trimmed. I should trim this one. Maybe this will be my Sunday project. This deck would look so great trimmed. Nikki says, ooh, that's pretty. I'll be taking a closer look. She could be in the film Kill Bill. Like, seriously, Lily. Yes. Chris says, what is the redness on her face and shoulder? It looks like she is hurt. I think it's more of like a war paint situation. I think she just has some fantastical makeup situation going on. Focus. There she goes. Yeah. She just likes badass makeup, Chris. Okay. Hello, I'm back. There we are. Bye, Susie. Have a nice walk. Diane says that could be a black-capped chickadee, perchance. I'll have to take your word for it. Oh, Lady D, you trimmed this and love it? Yeah, I bet it looks gorgeous. Oh, was there an indie version of this deck before it went mass market, Tammy Pie? Killer makeup. Yeah, totally. She looks ready, like she's ready to tackle some things, that's for sure. Erin says a much sadder tone overall. Antoinette says she's facing her shadow and cutting off the past. Ooh, that's an interesting take on this. Oops, Dee says she looks very serious and one slip with the sword. That great tit is dead. And by that we mean the bird, right? Lily, in magic, one can perform rituals with a powerful makeup. Oh, that's interesting. Anybody know what kind of flower that is? We all know I won't know, but maybe somebody will know. Simon, maybe we should both do it. I'll trim mine if you trim yours. Wait, that sounded weird. All right, let's see if we can answer our last question for today. So for anybody who came in later, we've already gathered 3 questions for next week's playdate. I cutting it a little short so we have some time for some other things. But because we wanted to, we knew we would know what next week's card is if we've been keeping track, right? So we went ahead and gathered the questions before we pulled the card for today so that we could answer those next week. All right, so from Scott, Scorpio Moon Tarot, what kind of changes are coming for us this week? Reminds me of a peony, so that's what Antoinette thinks the flower is there. Tammy Pie says, yes, it doesn't have the new art. I want it from Lana along with the little oracle she made. Oh, that's cool, though. Elle said, taking up the sword can take on many forms. Putting your makeup on, stepping outside, doing the thing to do the thing, right? What's going to make you feel confident? Sometimes, too, we have to fake it till we make it. You guys have heard of like the whole, I'm sure many of you have heard, like sometimes a powerful pose before you go to do something will actually make you feel more confident. If you stand like in a superhero position for 2 minutes or a minute, right? Even though you maybe don't yet have that confidence, that will help build your confidence. So putting on the power makeup, doing the things that make you feel like you're ready to face whatever it is, picking up the sword, putting on the makeup. Totally. Sorry, I went on a ramble after Elle said that. Scott said, so Scott's answering his question here. Go into next week with a willingness to learn, i.e. the sword, in a good, peaceful headspace, the bird, and with gratitude for what we have already, the flower, and everything will work out well. Well done, Scott. That is actually, I love how you took each of the different elements of the card to answer that question. I think that's really cool. So what kind of changes are coming for us this week? So, or, you know, maybe there are going to be some things that we are going to have to stand a little more firmly against and maybe prepare ourselves for a little bit. So maybe we don't yet know those changes, but we can ready ourselves for them. Get your war face on and be ready. Anybody else have any thoughts on that for Scott? Although I think you just did a great job. Oh, sure, Chris. I don't mind holding it up at all. All right. Chris has an idea brewing. So is the sword breaking through something? I feel like it's going behind the bird. I know it's not focusing very well. There we go. Oh, now I can kind of see the bird with its head bowed. There we go. Does that help? Does that help solidify your thoughts, Chris? Pao said, ooh, a plan is canceled at the last moment. Ooh, that's interesting. Donna says new ideas will be taking flight for us this week. Ooh, I like that, especially with the Page of Swords. And Elle says, peony and roses are the most well-loved flowers to tattoo in the tarot community. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Oak Mama says, stop negative ideas from the past coming over to contaminate the future. Yes, love that. Yeah, I think we're all just like, Scott did it. We can't compete with that. It looked like toasted marshmallows. Oh, the clouds, right? Yeah. Yeah. Have a little s'mores treat. Right? All right, my friends, don't leave yet because let's talk just a little bit about when this card is in a reverse position if you read reversals, or if you don't read reversals, when it's maybe in a position in a spread where that energy seems to be blocked, or you might be facing a challenge related to that card. Oops, I'm apparently going to highlight toasted marshmallows forever. Oh, TCAT had said, maybe the change that is coming will be altering your mind about something. Ooh. Yep, Simon, you know the last card. Dee says, who has the mask on? Interesting, yeah. Who might not be, who's got their war makeup on? Yeah, everybody was hoping that of the 2 cards we had left, that the Empress would be saved for next week. All right, reversals. thoughts on this? Blocking energy. This is where I think we can really get into that uncontrolled, just flailing the sword about, hoping some kind of idea is going to stick. We don't really have that grounding that we know we're looking for with this particular card. So I would say, for me, I would see some of that energy, or just a little bit too naive, a little bit unfocused. Might have all of these ideas and I'm excited about all of them, but I'm not able to focus on any of them. Wait, that sounds like me recently. I am the Page of Swords reversed right now. Donna, yes, difficulty focusing our mind. Oh, what'd you do, Elle? What did Elle do? Nervous energy. Yeah, Scott. Antoinette, failure to learn from past issues, repeating the cycle again. Oh, yeah. Stagnation and laziness, says Lily. Oh, Mitchell says, I'm going to play on Oak Mama's reply and say all action and no talk. The words are stuck in the throat. Ooh, did I miss Oak Mama's? Where was it? There it is. Oh, there it is. All talk, no action. Yeah, I can see, like, no follow through, right? It's like, oh yeah, great intentions, great ideas, but just unable to execute any of them. Chris says, getting one small piece of the story and charging on thinking you know it all. Yeah, I saw one play date. I'm good. I can read the tarot, right? T-Cat, know-it-all attitude or very closed mind. I like this know-it-all. Like we talked earlier about the kid that's always raising their hand in class, right? Yeah, sometimes that can get a bit obnoxious. And also, too, if our ego or if our identity is too wrapped up in knowledge and the things we know, we want people to see us as smart, we might start waving our sword about, being like, look how smart I am. And then it starts to look a little desperate and ridiculous. Elle says, placing weight on assumption or unjustified belief. Many false starts. Yeah, Elle, you've done it. You gave your dad some ammo. Aaron, fake it till you make it can be good until it turns into overly deceptive. True, like false confidence. Yeah, I'm going to lie on my resume so I can get that job, but then again, not be able to follow through. Kind of falls into that no action territory, right? All right, these are great, but I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but I do want to give you an activity. Now, just as a reminder, oh, Dee had a thing here though. Airhead rushing off in all directions. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Yes, especially if we don't have all of the context sometimes, right? So for anybody who's still here, as a reminder, Playdate will be in 2 weeks. So there will be no Playdate next week so that I can do something special for my friend's birthday that was back in June. And I could only schedule it for Sunday morning. So I'm just delaying the inevitable, procrastinating on the end of our tarot Playdate. So really think about, take this opportunity to go back and watch an old Playdate that you might have missed. I would love to still hear your thoughts on them. And let me give you an activity. Now, this is kind of a long activity. So if you stick around, actually, but I will put this in the description box below this video. And at some point, I remember sometimes 3 weeks later to put it in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group, and I'll have it on Instagram as well within the next week. This one is called Use Your Words. The Page of Swords has a lot of opinions and likes to debate. Embrace the energy of this page and create new and interesting dynamics between the cards by setting up 3-card mock debate. So this is a tarot exercise type thing. Draw 3 cards. The first card will represent the issue or question to be debated. Use the image on the card to drive this. The second card will represent the for position as it relates to the issue represented by the first card. The third card will represent the against position. Right? So we kind of are using the energy of the page to set up the debate around the issue, all the cards randomly selected. So an example would be if the first card, the issue or question, is Temperance, then card 2 that you draw happens to be the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is going to be representing 4, and card 3 is the Moon that you've drawn representing against. So the issue, should fire and water be allowed to mix to achieve the greatest balance? The Hanged Man in the for position debates, yes, the only way to achieve balance is by making change so perspective can be shifted. The moon in the against position debates, no, the only way to achieve true balance is for each element to reflect upon itself and determine what is hidden so that individuality can be the so individually, I can't read my own typing, they can be the best versions of themselves. And then I wrote, and I should not have done this. I said, I'm not the most creative at this, but hopefully you get the idea. I'm taking that out of there. Shame on me. Shame on me for being self-critical. That was not setting a very good example at all. So, do you get the idea of what we're doing here with the 3-card debates? So, Simon, for you, if you're lost. All right, so we randomly pull 3 cards. This is fun. We're going to hang out here for just a minute and talk about this. So I shuffle my deck. Wait, where am I? I'm lost. Okay. I shuffle my deck, and the first card is the issue I'm going to debate. I'm embracing this page's love for debate, right? So I pull a card, the High Priestess. So maybe I will say then that my issue up for debate is my intuition always correct? Or should we always listen to our intuition? All right, then the card that's going to argue for listening to intuition, is the 3 of Swords. Okay. And then the card that is against, this is great. I love this so much right now. The Hierophant is the against, right? Should we listen to our intuition? The 3 of Swords says, yeah, we have experience. We have lived experience. Of course, we should listen to our intuition because we've learned some lessons from the pain and the experiences that we've had in the past. Right? But then the Hierophant comes in and says, intuition, no, dogma, organization, read the book, read the rules, intuition, smintuition, right? Do you kind of get the idea? So we are using the energy of the page to drive the activity. But the page, pull the page out, have him standing there directing this whole show, if you will. So that is me on the fly trying to play. Did that make more sense now that I did that? I think Simon, Junjun, and Elle should do a 3-way live with each of them being one of the cards. Oh, that would be kind of fun. That would be kind of fun. All right, my friends, I'm sorry if I've confused you. You have to remember that when these activities were created, they were created in the 24 hours, 78 activities before a tarot play date started. And they have lived all of this time waiting for their turn. So anyway, my friends, thank you all for being here for our second to last tarot play date. It's been great fun, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks for tarot playdate 78. We've just about made it. All right, my friends, I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I will see you soon. All right. Mwah. Bye.